Hi, John.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Come on, man. Do we do this?
I've been following your career since you were in Mrs. Wobble as the waiter. And you know how to roller skate, and I've noticed that in all your films you've learned how to do some certain things, like in the BBC drama you did, you learned how to swim. What other things that you've never done before, like before you started acting, that have you now learned how to do?
Ooh, sword fighting, horse riding, say certain things in certain languages. But yeah, it's nice. Every role is a new skill that you have to learn, and it's fun. You know, as an actor, you're paid to professionally, obviously, embody a role, but also the skills that comes with whatever role and who the character is. And so for me, it's a good opportunity. You can get skills and you can use them in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed, that when people complain about how much actors get paid, I always say because they put in so much things, they have to learn different skills.
Oh yeah.
And that takes, it can take a toll on a person.
And also on top of that, it's obviously the audience. You know, your audience come, their free will and give. You know, the pay of an actor is kind of like the judgment sometimes of the craft. Like people come and just pay whether they see it or not. And it's from their free will. You know, so much is gained. But yeah, a lot of work goes into it.
Yeah.
For sure. 2015,
you started your company, Upper Room Entertainment. What made you think to do that? Because some young people, when they make it, they're like, let me live my best life, let me go party.
I still live best life.
You do, but
that's
you
not,
still
doing small, small, little party here, sprinkle party there.
So what made you, start up your company, your production company?
Fundamentally, I just got inspired to be a part of the story making process in a much more intimate way. I found that when you're just an actor, you're hired late in the process, probably sometimes right before principal photography. You go into filming, and then once you're off the project, you have to let it go. Whatever your performance is what your performance is. The editor, the director, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. And I didn't want to always have that separation with a project. Like, why can't I be a part of a project where I get to be a part of the production team? I get to, help, dictate the creative ideas, collaborate with the director closely. It's cool. And so I set up this company to do just that.
Yeah, I put your sister in your films as well.
I don't know. I don't know where that was reported. Got this one in particular, she likes to claim me. Problematic.
Pacific Rim Uprising is the first feature film for Upper Room Entertainment. How was it? How were you able to manage producing and acting at the same time?
It's definitely two different hats. But to be honest with you, it's the requirements are so different. That's the big major thing. And you're filming. Once you're filming. As an actor, I know what to do. But as a producer, it's day-to-day obstacles and day-to-day issues that you have to handle. Some of which, for an actor-producer, you're handling when you're done, finished. It'd be like when you're finished filming. And so you find that I'd find that I'd finish filming and then have to walk over to visual effects and spend a few hours there to do a meeting. I'm constantly watching rushes and takes from the day I filmed, going through it, giving creative ideas to Steve, constantly editing the pre-visuals for the final effects. So you're doing other stuff, but I just love it because I think the more you can create a haven for your own original ideas, the more you can have your own kind of freedom within.
Yeah. Did you learn anything new just being a producer?
It was interesting viewing actors from a producer standpoint.
In what sense?
Like, I get it. Like, it's influenced a lot of things with me. Because now I've produced and I've seen sometimes how scheduling can work with actors, man. It's so hard to get them, when you want them. And it was funny, even as a producer, it was hard to get myself. I was like, John said he's not available. You are John, no. But it's tricky. But communication as well is something that I've never had to be in constant communication, with the movie gods, with the higher ups. And so those kind of conversations that happen much more frequently, it's an adjustment because most of the time you're just, you're working just to get the film done.
Stacker Pentecost is Jake's father.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about their relationship?
In the first movie, Stacker never mentions his son. You never see him. You don't hear of him null and void. They don't have a great relationship, and Pacific Rim Uprising kind of explores why that is. Their relationship is problematic. Jake has grown up in the shadow of his father's success, but obviously he's never lived up to it, so he's just doing his own thing. And then we find him at a point where he goes back to the PPDC. He has to, and it's now his time to become a leader for a new generation of younger pilots. So he's now put in the exact same position as his dad in a sense, and so you get to see him basically just grow up.
Yeah. So, what impact, that absence that he didn't have as his father's absence in his life? Like, what impact do you think it had on his development growing up as a young person, or to the man that he's become?
So a lot of people ask the question all the time of like, we never heard of Jake in the first movie. We never saw him. So how are you able to play these effects? But for me, I think the major fundamental thing is the effect of pain, and the way in which Jake deals with pain is being cocky and a little bit arrogant, doesn't really care, and that's just how Jake deals with it, and that's just some of the scars of not having his dad around. But also you find that Stacker never mentions his son, and when we were researching about it, we found that there's many parents like that. Yeah. You don't hear about them because it's embarrassing. It almost automatically implies that you're not good at parenting. And so I think both those characters were scarred by it, but you only have a chance to really see it through Jake, and that scarring can be hard to see because sometimes he just smiles on his face like, I don't care.
Obviously, he's been given a big responsibility now to, save the world. What kind of advice would you give to a young person who might relate to that specific thing that he's going through, in terms that he doesn't have a role model or a father figure? What kind of advice would you give to a young person who might have that sort of thing that they're dealing with?
I don't know about advice. Like, I'm careful with advice. Like, not every time. Sometimes people want to be listened to.
Yeah.
And just to be listened to can sometimes give you a clear enough head to figure out your own issue. So you'd hope that some of those young people are exposed to those types of leaders, but at the same time, I think it's about making inspiration, work for you. Like, inspiration can turn to motivation, then motivation turns into work, doing. You bring it into your reality. So I think that's something that's important for a lot of young people to realize. But funny enough, like, Jake has to still go back to a place of institution, a place where he's given discipline, and there are people around him that are telling him, you need to fix up, you need to. So that as well,
that can help them.
Okay, it make or break you.
Depends
what someone's telling you.
Yeah. What are we gonna expect from watching this film?
Well, it's about a young man who's a bit rogue, who has to turn and find the good in himself, and he has to train a whole bunch of younger kids to become heroes. I mean, they're the only ones left. Like, these kids are not ready for that kind of fight that you see in Pacific Rim, but they're the world's only hope, and they're the only ones that can stop this threat. And so it's about young people stepping up to an obstacle that's bigger than themselves, and helping to save the world. We've got visual effects in this. Cities just getting destroyed anyhow. They're evacuated though. But it's good fun. It's nostalgic and it's fun.
That's great. So I've got something to ask you. So we've been seeing some pictures floating about the internet.
What pictures?
Saying that you might be part of DC or Marvel. Do you want to give me exclusive?
No, I'm not a part of DC. I'm not a part of Marvel.
But it'd be good maybe to see you.
I love what's going on right now. Marvel. What's going on with Marvel. But I'm happy just being an audience watcher right now. Like, I'm fulfilled. I love what I'm seeing.
Yeah. What can we expect from Upper Room Entertainment in the future? Have you got projects coming up that we should look out for?
Well, we're developing something now with Sebastian Till, who he's a UK director, and we've all known him to do like online series with people like A. Dot, and he's been upcoming with stuff like that. But now he's written, in my view, a masterpiece. Like the UK's version of The Wood, that goes between old school and what we now know as present day. kind of look at our culture as Black British people within the system. So I'm developing that with Big Talk, who done the type of blog.
Cool. Great.
And that's going well. Like, still at the very, very early stages. And everything else is in development. We're just developing, reading scripts, meeting with upcoming writers and directors, which is nice. We have kind of an initiative which kind of targets people who are upcoming. So for me, I just love that element of things. It's cool.
Great. So wish you all the best,
Yeah,
and I can't wait to see the film. So that's it for today.
Thank you, bless you.